Hey, what's going on, guys? Really quick note about today's Q&A. We filmed it in the car driving down to Celebration. I wanted to do something a little different and fun, but we did not anticipate how loud driving on the highway would be. Should have thought of that. We tried to clean the audio up as best we could, but it still sounds a little weird. I just wanted to let you know why. I hope you still enjoy it, though. What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. I know you're watching this on Saturday, but right now it's Wednesday for us. We're driving down to Star Wars Celebration, and I thought that it would be a fun thing to kind of do the Q&A with the whole Celebration team. So if you don't know who these people are, this is Molly, my wife. She's been on the channel frequently, so you probably know her. This is my friend Zach, who has also done a couple live streams with me, but he's coming down to help us shoot and edit and everything. So I chose like some discussion questions this time, and we're gonna run through those, and everyone will get a chance to talk. The first question comes from the Screen Avenger, and he simply asks what we're most looking forward to at Celebration. I think I'm mostly looking forward to the Last Jedi panel. I really want to know more about Episode 8. I'm usually most excited about whatever film is about to come out next, so I'm looking forward to that. I also am curious about the 40th anniversary panel. I'm hoping they announce some more movies coming up. Hopefully the next anthology movie, possibly that Obi-Wan movie that has been leaked about, but that's what I'm looking forward to. So, Molly?
Yeah, I would say the Last Jedi panel also, and the 40th anniversary, but most of all, I get to meet Sarah Michelle Gellar.
That's true. I also get to meet Biggs. I didn't mention that, so obviously that's very exciting.
But, well, I guess I shouldn't say most of all, because she's not really Star Wars related.
You're allowed to be excited about that. You love Buffy.
Pretty excited about that. And the 501st big party that they're throwing Saturday night should be really fun.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, really, I'm also just looking forward to meeting people and meeting or seeing again other YouTubers. We're going to get to hang out with Andy and Elliot from Battlefront Updates. I've never met Dash in person. Hello Greedo, Stupendous Wave, like a ton of people that I've known for a long time, but I've never actually physically been in the same room with, so that'll be fun. Zachary?
I am most excited to watch each one of you individually break down in tears in front of your heroes with happiness. Really stoked about Weird Al emceeing a room full of stormtroopers. That's going to be great. I think I'm most excited. I'm really interested to see if they hint at any of the future TV production, like live action production, because I think that's going to be a big step, and a kind of a risky step for Star Wars too. You know, they've never done anything like that, so I'm excited to see if they talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Matt Delagonski asks what our favorite Star Wars video games are. I am gonna have to go, I don't think I can choose between the Dark Forces series, specifically Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, that's an old favorite of mine, and Rogue Squadron. Both of those series have very dear places in my heart. I'm big into nostalgia. Like, I don't play as many games now as I used to, so a bunch of those older games are kind of what I gravitate towards. Zach?
It would definitely have to be the old MMO that SOE did, Star Wars Galaxies. Especially in the beginning of the game, it was a really hard, like, grindy goal to be a Jedi. It took a long time, but it was like so worth it because it took so long that most of the people in this MMO weren't playing the Jedis. They were just a starfighter pilot or a farmer or a blaster guy or whatever. So it felt like it was the actual kind of scale of the universe where you'd rarely see a Jedi, but if you did, it was a huge deal. And if there was a couple of them in battle, it was like a major thing. So it really captured that, like, how special it is to be a Jedi experience that a lot of games don't get.
That is really cool. I've never played that game, and I don't know much about it. I know a little bit. What I know the most about that game is Cupid the Ewok, which is like a terrifying Ewok with wings that only came out for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. It's been a long time since I played it.
Yeah, it was like I did a Valentine's Day episode in the second month of the channel, and it was about that, and it was so bizarre. But that's what I know most about Star Wars.
So it's an Ewok that can fly, or is it like
yeah?
Is it like the joke that you played on Wedge where they?
No, it's a real thing.
Okay.
It's real. Molly?
I mean, I'm not a huge gamer per se. I mean, we played the Star Wars Lego games. We did a Let's Play, and we have a playlist of that on the channel if you want to check it out. I enjoyed those. Those were a lot of fun. I liked that Chewbacca could pull arms off of people.
Yeah, that never got old for you.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't in any of the original movies. It got cut from Force Awakens that he did that to someone, and then finally we get it in Lego.
the least violent way possible.
Yeah.
Right.
But also Shadows of the Empire, definitely. I played that when I was younger, and it was really fun. I liked the Hoth scene where you had to rope tie the AT-ATs.
Darth Zandrum asks, now that in Rogue One we saw a CGI Grand Moff Tarkin and we got the CGI young Leia, in Episode 8, if we get a Force Ghost of Obi-Wan, do you think it would digitally look like Alec Guinness, or would they just go with Ewan McGregor with makeup? I kind of think it's more likely that they're just going to go the makeup route and just have Ewan play the part. I don't think there's really a need to digitally alter his face. It's been so much money doing that. Even though I think it might look a little more convincing if it's a Force Ghost, since there's like the haze and the blue and all that might be a little bit better. But I just don't think there's a point, because everyone already knows Ewan as Obi-Wan.
Right.
So
especially with the rumors of his own movie,
sure,
they're definitely not going to throw Alec Guinness in there as like a kind of a confusing thing. And
yeah,
there's all that pushback on dead CGI characters. So
yeah, I think it's much more likely it'll just be Ewan's face and they grade his beard. But
right.
see.
I'm not a huge fan of the CGI characters. Like, I feel like Tarkin in Rogue One looked okay in the shadows, or like just his reflection. But when you got a like face-on shot of him talking, it looked super obviously CGI, and it kind of bothered me a little bit. And then Leia, I didn't feel like she looked very good at the end of Rogue One, but that's just my opinion. And I don't think they would do that with Alec Guinness.
Agreed. Michael Sweat commented that the Clone Wars series began with a theatrically released film, and he asked if it would be possible that Rebels would end the same way, with a theatrically released film. I'm going to go with kind of a cheeky answer and say that I think it already did. I still think Rebels is going to end with the Battle of Scarif. So we already did get like a film version of the season finale or the series finale if they go that route. They might not. I just think that would be the perfect way to end it. But no, I don't think that Rebels is going to have any theatrically released film surrounding that cast of characters. I think it's just going to be probably a long episode, but I don't really see it coming out in theaters.
Could be like a two-part series finale.
Yeah, I think it could be like a long arc.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I don't think they would put out a movie for that exactly. But yeah, I think the series is definitely going to end right as they're getting into the Battle of Scarif.
I think we might see the whole battle from their point of view.
That would be cool.
I think that's what we might see.
It's traditionally tough to do that, even when the live action joke is like 6 seasons in a movie or whatever. It's tough to, on the animation side, to have like a serial like Rebels go into theaters and get people to go in and pay for it, because they've been used to getting it for free on TV. So it would be surprising that an animated show would go into a movie at the end, just on the commercial side.
I like hearing your take on some of this stuff, because he's actually in like the production world, so he would know more than we would about that kind of thing.
Yeah, or I would just, with more confidence.
This is a family-friendly channel, Zachary.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I think we're definitely gonna see some Rogue One characters for the series finale of Rebels.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get that over the course of the rest of the series. I'd love to see like Cassian and K2 in there at some point.
That would be neat.
Speaking of Star Wars Rebels, Daniel Bowen asks what kind of TV series we might see in the future from Lucasfilm and Star Wars, and you brought that up earlier as well, that maybe they'll talk about that at Celebration. I have no idea. I mean, everyone loves to hop on the Old Republic Netflix bandwagon, and I agree it's something I would love to see. But I don't really know where they would go next. I kind of am leaning towards closer to the sequel era, like something in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, but I don't really know. What do you guys think? Do you have any druthers?
I think they might roll out 2 separate TV series, because they gotta keep something on Disney for kids to stay engaged. And maybe something like a Netflix series, a short Netflix series that's live action. I don't know what it would be about. Obviously, they probably wouldn't have a huge budget for a short TV, like live action series, but I think that would be cool if they rolled out 2 different ones, one for more geared towards kids and one more geared towards adults.
I agree.
I don't know. I could see Disney doing a partnership with Netflix, because Netflix is investing a ton of money. So if they kind of released it as like a Disney Netflix original type thing, Netflix is spending something like $70 billion on original content just this year. And so I think at first it'll probably be something that's a little bit mainline, like kind of like the story that we're seeing that's kind of being teased with the Battlefront trailer, kind of like following this group of Imperials following Endor. That's perfect for like an 8-episode run or something. But I'm excited about like kind of 2 or 3 years in the future when we're used to seeing Star Wars on TV, because I really want to see like a scoundrel show, like about somebody like Han Solo or Lando, but in the vein of like a show like White Collar, where there's this super suave guy just kind of going through and doing heists on different planets, seeing like a lot of different characters that get introduced in one episode and then they're done. That would be kind of neat.
They could always revisit Star Wars Underworld, which like that was the live action show that they wrote like 100 scripts for and then just dropped. And they're still using ideas that they developed from that show, so it would be kind of cool if they revisited something like that, which would probably be along the lines of what you're talking about. Although it's said that it was going to be heavily involved with Palpatine. I don't really want to see that so much. Like, I don't want to get too much into his, like, I don't want him, they were talking about how they were going to make him like a tragic character and make him more relatable. I don't really want that. I want him to keep him evil.
Yeah, he's just, I mean, he's evil from the get-go.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. Like, the TV shows have the opportunity to tell like those kind of everyday stories that movies just aren't long enough to do. Like when you're reading a book and they make it into a movie and you're like, oh, I loved all the day-to-day stuff. Like, TV is where the day-to-day happens. So that's the side of Star Wars that we see it on Rebels, and it's one of my favorite things about Rebels. But you don't really get to see it in live action at all, because the stakes are always super high in the movies all the time. So they don't really explore the minutia.
Yeah. That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon on Monday and I will have left you all written responses. Normally I do it earlier, but because I'm at Celebration, I just don't have the time right now. But by Monday, I will have left you all written responses as normal. On to YouTube questions. Captain Quinja asks who our favorite alien character is and what our favorite alien species are. I'm gonna go alien species as a whole, probably Wookiees, but favorite alien character right now is gotta be Thrawn. Part of that is just because I'm high off of the book, having just finished it and loving it, so Thrawn's gotta be my answer for now, but just every time I read about him, he's so intriguing and interesting, and there's nothing else to say. I just love reading about him.
It's hard to choose a favorite species, because I also like Wookiees. I love Tarful. He's got like really cool armor and like hair dread pieces that look awesome, and a cool gun. But I like Twi'leks also. Favorite alien character, I would have to go with Ahsoka. She's like one of my favorite characters, period. So
I'm gonna double down and say species is the Chiss and Thrawn as the character. I just read Outbound Flight, and their culture is really intriguing. And Thrawn specifically is just an amazing character to watch and read, because he's just always 18 steps ahead of somebody else. So.
Well, until I made him sit up and film this, he's been back there reading the Thrawn book. So
Yeah.
we're all high off of Thrawn energy right now. All right, Molly, you're gonna like this one. Billy Thomas asks if we think Ahsoka is still alive. I am leaning towards thinking she's dead. I mostly think that there's just no way Vader would leave her alive. I don't see him showing her mercy, but the reason I'm on the fence about that is because at the end of Season 2 of Rebels, we still kind of see her, but it's a very ambiguous thing, and we don't know if that was like her, or if it was metaphorical, or what's going on. I'm sure we're going to get an answer about it. I mean, Dave Filoni has basically said we will for sure see her again in some fashion, but not in the form we might expect, he says. So we'll have to see what that means, but I'm leaning towards thinking that she's dead.
I disagree. I think she's alive. And part of me thinks that they might turn her character into something like the Bendu, who's like, because she was a gray Jedi, and now maybe she could be something that's somewhere in between light and dark, because it looked like she was headed into like a cave.
She was going into the temple, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe she spends some time learning some dark side stuff and becomes the new Bendu.
Do you think she would have powers like the Bendu, or would she like be a mortal version of him?
I don't know. I would like to see her have cool powers like the Bendu.
It's like, well, I mean, maybe she does. Maybe she's alive in the way that Bendu is alive. Like, I still don't know exactly what he was. Like, was he a spirit? Was he ever alive? In the sense that, like, it was at the end of Season 3, posed a lot of questions about the Bendu. So, yeah, maybe she does become, like, some greater being.
I'm kind of on Molly's side. I mean, not necessarily like it could be. I think it's gonna be kind of a, you know, for lack of a better word, a gray area, because you know, the thing about Rebels is that we've always had this onus of like, however many seasons you're gonna do, you gotta kill all these people because they're not around, right? I feel like they're gonna try to find some creative way to be like, well, yeah, all the Jedi were dead, but she's not really a Jedi anymore. She's something different.
Sure.
So she potentially could be alive and maybe reappear.
Maybe. Speaking of Star Wars Rebels, Imperial Destroyer asks if we're going to get a Season 4 trailer at Star Wars Celebration. That's almost like a definite thing, I would say 99%. If they don't show a trailer, I will be shocked. I mean, they showed a trailer last year, and Season 2 had just ended. They start producing these episodes so far ahead of time, I have no doubt that they're going to have a trailer at the Saturday panel that they're going to do, and hopefully it'll answer some of the questions we have.
Yeah, they said on one of the most recent episodes of the Star Wars show that we will definitely be getting a sneak peek at Season 4. I don't know if that means a trailer or like a teaser, but we're definitely going to get some sort of footage.
I don't have anything to add. Yes. Yes, almost certainly.
Say something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you had covered that pretty well.
Fossil 13 asks, if we are going to get an Obi-Wan movie, if that turns out to be true, what would we want it to be about? I have almost no idea. All the ideas that I would have are being covered in Star Wars Rebels and the Star Wars comics, like Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan. Okay, they've done that. In the comics, we're kind of getting Obi-Wan fighting like Tusken Raiders and fighting gangsters, so they're kind of covering that. I don't know what the story would be about. I do not think he should leave Tatooine for any reason, so maybe this could be like a chance for them to explore a very different genre, like something very intimate. It doesn't travel from from planet to planet. It's just Tatooine, and it's just focused on Obi-Wan, and I don't, maybe it could be just like a character study. I'd be interested to hear what Zach has to say about this.
I kind of want something different, and I thought it would be Tatooine until I read A New Dawn, and with that scene in the very beginning when Kanan's basically like asking about the Jedi holotransmitter. I'd kind of like it to start with that scene, establish that Obi-Wan and Kanan knew each other, and then flash forward to him actually giving that order, and the intervening time right after he tells all the Jedi to like scatter, and just see his hopelessness as he tries to, you know, deal with that, you know, kind of the weight of that order, and hearing about other Jedi's falling and what exactly he was doing during that time.
That is true. They can always do flashbacks, so we could see different planets still. We could maybe even go back to like Obi-Wan's training. I mean, they can do some pretty crazy things with digital now, so they can make him look significantly younger.
Well, and Liam Neeson back in a Star Wars movie would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I want it to be just one long training montage in the desert, but like super chill, like meditating training.
It's just him sitting there for 2 hours.
Lots of Jedi Yoda or yoga.
It's like a time lapse for 2 hours, just like two suns rising and setting over and over.
Sure.
And then he's like, I know how to be immortal.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Yeah, I have no idea what the plot would be about, but yeah, I would like to see what he's up to on Tatooine.
There is still, I guess, potential beyond just flashbacks. Yoda has the ability to communicate with Obi-Wan, so technically, Yoda could be in it.
He could just be haunted by.
I'm trying to sleep, Yoda. What time is it on Dagobah? Middle of the day it is.
Yeah.
Lord, I am.
As Yoda goes slowly insane in the swamp.
Alonzo Matus asks if we think we're going to get confirmation on Benicio Del Toro's character, and I mean like who he will be playing in The Last Jedi. There are rumors right now that are saying a couple things, like one, that he's kind of like a gangster criminal of some sort. I've read that some people think he's a Fett. A bunch of people want him to play Grand Admiral Thrawn in the future. I don't want that. We might get confirmation. I think last year, I don't think it was at Celebration, but last year, or 2 years ago, I'm sorry, at Comic-Con, we learned a lot about like Captain Phasma, and we learned a lot about General Hux. So they could save that for Comic-Con or D23, but I could see them discussing that at Celebration. I think that would be some cool information to reveal that wouldn't be like too much to give away, but it would be enough that people would be excited about it, and people like me would clamor to make videos about it and speculate. So I think there's a pretty good chance we could learn who he's playing.
Yeah, I like the kind of villain gangster character type. Like, I don't want him to be the main villain, because obviously that's like Snoke, I guess, and Kylo Ren, but I want him to be kind of like a middle-of-the-road villain. Like, maybe I'll help you, maybe I'll kill you.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I think that the First Order is a little bit crowded right now. We got Snoke, Kylo Ren, General Hux, Captain Phasma. There's a lot already in the First Order. Yeah, there's already a lot of villains, so he needs to be, I think that's a good point, he needs to be middle of the ground. Like, not a good guy, but not necessarily a bad guy.
Could be a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
What is the guy who the Faline who
She's
owns Blacks? Yeah. I mean that, you know, a character like that, like an underworld scum and villainy character could be cool.
Yeah, someone who's against both factions.
Yeah.
Playing off of each other, yeah.
You know, and there's a power vacuum, you know, from where the Empire was in a lot of areas that the Republic hasn't filled, probably.
That is a good point. They have been touching on that in Empire's End.
Yeah.
The criminal underworld, like there was kind of a shadow war going on between all the criminals. So yeah, maybe that stuff from Empire's End is pointing towards The Last Jedi in that regard, and that Benicio Del Toro will be kind of maybe the guy on top. So yeah, we might get a third faction. That could be very interesting.
And they're developing it so much. You know, we play the miniatures game. Scum and Villainy. Somebody in the story group is paying attention to it and issuing, you know, new stuff. And I don't think you know, aesthetically, I'd be surprised if he wasn't a human. If he is an alien, it's going to be like a very humanoid alien. I really would be surprised if he was like a droid, like Alan Tudyk's, you know, role or anything like that. I think they're gonna. His face is so iconic and such a big part of his acting style that I'd be surprised if they covered it up.
Now that you guys have said that, like that's what I want. I want a third faction. That'll keep it from being. People are so worried it's going to be a retread of Empire Strikes Back after The Force Awakens. Yeah, this will keep it from doing that. Like now it's not basically the Empire versus basically the Rebellion. It would be the First Order and the Resistance and like a Black Sun kind of faction. So I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, he might be the wild card.
That'd be cool. He'd play that character well.
Yeah. That's all the time I have for questions today. If you want to leave one for next week, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon and join our weekly Q&A thread. If you're at Celebration, I hope you're having a great time. Tonight we're going to be at the 501st Bash, so if you're there, we'd love to see you. Come say hello. You won't be bothering us at all. We'd love to hang out with all of you. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.